Welcome to EIU. Today, we're here to help you prepare to take that next step as you get ready to come to EIU this coming fall. My name is Greg Eit. I'm an academic advisor here at Eastern Illinois University. I work in the Academic Success Center. You see our building there, McAfee Gym, where we're located. When you are on campus this fall, you'll come visit us there. And we work with incoming freshmen, helping you make that transition from high school into college successfully. So you can see our hours, 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, and we'll certainly look forward to seeing you in the fall here at EIU. But today we want to help you get ready for the fall semester and find out what you need to do to be prepared to get registered for classes. But we also want you to feel comfortable knowing kind of what those next steps are for you. And so you can see this is part of the pre-advising academic orientation. And so you're going to complete this pre-advising module, part of the Freshman D2L course that you've already accessed. So you will complete the module. And then after you've done that, an academic advisor is going to contact you to set up an advising meeting. So that meeting is where you'll register for your fall 2023 classes. We look forward to meeting with you individually. As part of that advising meeting, we'll help you get registered. We'll talk about your plans. We'll discuss in more detail here in this presentation what exactly we're going to discuss with you when we meet that day. And then after that, you will also attend an on-campus orientation day. So that's another important part of preparing for the fall semester. And you do need to attend that in order to finalize your schedule for the fall 2023 semester. You'll get a lot of good information the day you're on campus for that freshman orientation in the summer. We also want to kind of talk about what academic advising is. You may have heard of an academic advisor, but it's a little bit different from maybe what you've experienced in high school. So academic advising, it's a partnership. That's the key. We're working with you. We're helping you. So it's a partnership where we're helping develop a solid foundation for that successful college career that we're looking for you to have. So we know it's us working together. We have a lot of resources we can share with you. We know kind of how things work at the university level, and that's going to be new for you, so we want to help you with that information, but we also want your input on things that are going to work well for you. So we look forward to working with you, getting to know you one-on-one when we meet with you later on. So an advisor is a little different from your guidance counselor in high school. So in high school, your guidance counselor would help you with scheduling, and they would also help you with any mental health questions you might have or concerns. So they worked with both of those things. As an advisor, our primary focus is on the academic side. Now, we certainly know that mental health is important too, and there are resources on campus to help you with that. We do have a counseling clinic where you can talk to someone there if you have any mental health questions or concerns. But our focus is going to be on helping you transition successfully academically into college. And so that's what we'll be working with you on. You will meet with an advisor here at EIU throughout your academic career, and that's something that makes Eastern special. It's not just when you start out at Eastern. You have an academic advisor throughout your entire academic career here at Eastern. When you first start out, you will meet with one of the professional advisors in academic advising services. That's where I work and several of my colleagues. That's who you'll be meeting with early on here to get set up for classes for your first semester. You'll work with us certainly through that fall semester here at EIU. In some cases beyond, just depends on your major and when you're admitted into your major program. But even after you get admitted into your major, you'll have an advisor. You'll also have a professional or faculty advisor in your academic major once you get to that point. So we really want to help you throughout your time here at Eastern. So that's our role as advisors, is to help you with any questions you may have. So keep us in mind, keep us informed of how things are going for you. And we'll talk about how you can keep in touch later in the presentation. So the kinds of things that we're going to talk about with you when we meet individually upcoming, we have a lot of things we'll be happy to discuss with you, any questions you may have, but we do want to start out by talking a little bit about your career goals. You may have a very specific goal in mind already, or you may not have an idea exactly of what you want to do at this point, and that's okay. You don't have to have a specific career in mind yet, but if you do, we certainly want to talk about that with you. We're going to meet you where you're at, wherever that may be. If you're just starting to think about what types of things you might want to do career-wise, that's okay too. We'll start that conversation with you. We also want to talk about your strengths and your weaknesses. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses. I know for me, I really enjoyed the social sciences, but boy, science, that was a tough area for me. Well, we know you'll have your strengths and weaknesses as well, and we would like you to share those with us so that we know a little better kind of what areas you feel most comfortable with. The nice thing about college, we get to start focusing in a little more on what your strengths are and what you enjoy, and a little less on the things that maybe aren't as strong for you or things that you don't enjoy as much. So we do want to hear about that. What do you like? What do you not care for as much as far as the academic side goes? What subjects? We will talk about degrees and majors. If you have a particular major in mind already, we want to talk about that with you. Tell you kind of what you can expect, what things are coming up for you within that particular major, what will be required. But we also want to talk about general education requirements because there are some classes that everyone has to take regardless of major. We call that general education, kind of that broad foundation that we're going to build on with your major specific classes later on. And so we will discuss those general education requirements, things that you'll need to complete in order to graduate. And then specifically, we do want to discuss your course schedule for that upcoming fall semester. I know that's what everybody's excited about, finding out what classes are going to be a good fit for them. And you may be kind of thinking, we're going to tell you exactly what you need to take. Well, it's a two-way street. We want to hear what you're interested in as well. So we certainly have some ideas of things that would be helpful for you, but we want to hear what you're interested and excited about taking too. So we look forward to having that conversation with you one-on-one, and ultimately by the time we finish that meeting, you will have a schedule set for the fall semester. So we're looking forward to helping you get registered. You may also want to know a little bit more about the specifics. You know, what is my class schedule going to look like? How many classes am I going to take? What's a good combination for me? Typically, you know, that's a question that really depends on the individual student. 12 semester hours, 12 credit hours is the minimum for full-time status. So to be a full-time student, we need to be enrolled in at least 12 credits. Often we will go up to around 15 credit hours, but it's really going to depend on what you feel comfortable and confident about being successful in. So depends on the student. Maybe you're working a significant number of hours while you're taking classes. Maybe that means we stay at around 12 hours instead of 15, but ideally we like to aim for around 15 because that helps us to get to our target, which is 30 credit hours each academic year. So if our goal is to graduate in 4 years, we would like to hit that 30-hour mark. But there are a variety of ways we can do that. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But classes are typically 3 credit hours apiece at the college level. Now, some may be different, but in general, we're looking at around 3 credits per class. So if you're in about 15 credit hours, usually that means we've got about 5 classes per semester. So often, that will be the workload that we look for, the class load. One way or another, we know we need 30 credit hours to be considered a sophomore. So in high school, it was not so much about how many credits you earned, it was more about how many years you'd been there. If this was your second year of high school, you were a sophomore. At the college level, it's about credit hours earned, all right? So when you earn 30 credit hours, you will be considered a sophomore at that point. 60 credit hours gives you junior standing, and 90 credit hours gives you senior standing. And those also affect the classes we can take. So as a first-time freshman, you can take 1,000 and 2,000 level classes. So any class beginning with a 1 or a 2, 1,000 or 2,000 level, you're eligible to take those. Once we earn 30 credit hours as a sophomore, now you can take 3,000 level classes. And once you hit that 60 credit hour mark, you can also take 4,000 level classes. So the number of credit hours you've earned affect the classes that we can take. Let's take a look. We talked about how there are different ways to get to that 120 credits that we need to graduate. So the reason we usually aim for around 15 credit hours per semester is because if we do that over the course of 4 academic years or 8 semesters, the math works out in our favor to get to that 120 credit hours that we need in order to graduate. We have to have 120 to earn our degree at the minimum. But there are other ways to do that. If we don't end up taking 15 hours each semester, we could take a summer class or 2. So maybe for some students, 12 hours in the fall and or spring, plus a summer class or 2 might be a better option. So that's something we'll talk with you individually about, see what's going to work best for you. But one way or another, we know we ultimately need to get to that 120 credit hours in order to graduate. You may wonder, well, what am I going to be taking? What kinds of things will fill up my schedule? And the answer is a variety of things. A lot of different classes are going to go into that. We like to give you some variety so that you get to kind of taste a little bit of all the different things that we offer. But general education makes up 40 credits of our 120 that we need to graduate. So that's a significant portion of it. Like I said, it's kind of that broad foundation we're going to build on with your major courses later on. Gives you kind of that liberal arts background. You're earning a liberal arts degree from Eastern, and that's going to give you kind of that background for that liberal arts degree. So we'll talk about general education in detail here later on in the next segment. But we do know it's going to be 6 different categories that make up our general education, and we'll outline those in detail here shortly. In addition to the general education coursework, though, you will also take your major classes, all right? So we have classes that are required for your major. Different majors require a different number of classes. So some majors may require more, some may require less, just depends. But we know we're going to complete those major classes as part of our 120 hours to graduate as well. So the major is something that you focus in. That's your primary focus for your academics, your coursework is that major field. It's something you're interested in, and it's ultimately what your career will probably be based on. So we'll choose that major. We'll help you get into some classes relating to that as you go forward. But again, keep in mind, we don't have to have a major yet. All right? If you're still undecided, that's perfectly fine. We don't have to have a major right away. We'll talk about that with you. Some students choose to have a minor. All right, a minor is a smaller number of credit hours in a particular field. A minor is optional, so you don't have to choose a minor. Some students do, in fact, many students do, to kind of complement their major. Sometimes it's something that goes along well with your major. Sometimes it's maybe just an area of interest that you also have in addition to your major that you want to pursue. So it's up to you. That's something we can also talk about, although it's not as critical right now. That's something we may add on later on once you get further into your college career, if you decide that you want a minor to go along with your major. Then, in some cases, you may also take what we call electives. Electives are classes that are not part of your major. They're not part of the general education. They're not part of your minor, but they're just classes that you want to take in order to complete that 120 credits to graduate. It might just be a class that you think sounds interesting, that you meet the prerequisite for, that you're able to take. It might just be a class that you said, I think this would help me out with my major. Even though it's not required for the major, I want to add it in there. But it's not actually something you have to take. But sometimes you may need additional classes beyond just your major or your minor or general education courses to meet that 120 credits in order to graduate. So sometimes we do add electives in there. And we'll actually talk about a specific elective that you may want to take later on here as a first-time freshman. We'll discuss that later in the presentation as well in one of the later segments. But we know one way or another we do need 120 credits in order to graduate at the minimum. Every student will complete that number in order to earn their degree from Eastern. As far as what your specific schedule will look like, we won't know that until we actually meet with you and kind of talk about that. But I do want to show you what an example of a schedule might look like. So this is an example of a student's schedule, different classes that they're taking. And you can see one thing that's different about college, your schedule will probably be different each day of the week. All right, so this particular student, his classes start out at 9 a.m. on Monday and go through until 1 p.m. on Monday. But on Tuesday and Thursday, he doesn't start, or she doesn't start, until 11 a.m. in the morning. So different start times depending on the day of the week, and different ending times too. So on Monday and Wednesday, the student gets finished at a little before 1. But on Friday, they actually get finished by noon. So you always want to see what your schedule is going to shape up like, and that will depend on the sections of each class that you choose. So partly it depends on the class that you choose. Different classes are offered at different times, and also even within a class, there are different sections offered, and different sections are offered at different times. So that's what will determine what your schedule looks like, and we'll work with you one-on-one when we meet to kind of help you figure that out. But something else that you may notice is that there are breaks in there sometimes. So like, for example, on Tuesday and Thursday, if you're not starting till 11, we've got some free time in there. And that's nice. You know, it's nice to have free time. That's one of the things students are often excited about coming to college. You know, I've got more free time that I can do what I want with. And that's true. You know, when I talk to students that I meet with individually, they tell me, you know, maybe they like to take a nap here and there. Naps are good. But we also know if we're going to be successful at the college level, we're going to have to take advantage of that free time and use it to do some homework as well. Because because we're definitely doing more work outside of class than you did in high school. And so we want to find time to get that homework in. It may be that you're not doing as much homework in the evening. Now in college, you may find that during the day is a good time for you to get that homework done when you have some breaks. So keep that in mind. Depending on your schedule, you may be able to use that free time wisely and manage your time. That's going to be really important. But yeah, we'll talk about your schedule one-on-one when we meet with you. All right, now we want to dig into that general education that we talked about and look at the details of it. We're going to walk through it category by category, and it's definitely important because probably a significant part of your schedule for the fall semester will have some general education classes in there. So we want to go through them so that you're familiar with it and you can select some classes that would maybe be a good option for you. And you will receive a full listing of all the general education classes that we offer for the fall semester so that you can kind of choose some that look good to you. I would encourage you to do that. But as far as just outlining what the general education includes, that's what we want to do here in this presentation. So language is an important part of general education. Usually you have a lot of choices within the general education categories, but language is one category that's so important. We don't have any choices. You have to take these 3 classes, all right? English 1001G is required. English 1002G is required. Those are both composition classes, Composition 1 and Composition 2. And then you'll also be required to take Communications 1310G, Intro to Speech Communication. So 9 semester hours in this segment, and it is those 3 specific classes. Most students will begin with a composition class, but which class you begin with will depend on a few different factors. One is your placement into English 1001G, so there are prerequisites, things that you have to meet before you take that class. Think of a prerequisite kind of like a stop sign. Stop and take a look. Have I done what I need to? Have I taken the class I need to get into that next class? If so, great. We can go on. We can take that class. But if we haven't, we need to take that prerequisite class first, the class that comes first in that sequence. We need to meet the requirements in order to get into that class. So prerequisites will help you with those. You can certainly find those in the online catalog. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But definitely something we'll work with you to make sure that you're eligible to take these classes. But in the case of composition, we'll discuss that with you individually, one-on-one, because it could be we need to meet the placement for English 1001G, and it could also be that you've already taken a class as a dual credit class that's equivalent to English 1001G or English 1002G. So those are things we'll talk about when we meet with you one-on-one. Intro to Speech Communication, also an important class to take, and typically we take composition as a freshman, and we can take Intro to Speech Communication as a freshman too, even that first semester, all right? Sometimes students are a little worried about taking that the first semester they're here, but if that's something you feel comfortable taking, you can definitely do that your first semester if you choose to. So we'll talk with you and see if that might be a good fit for you in this first semester, or if not, maybe in the spring of your freshman year. The next segment I want to discuss is humanities and fine arts. So you will take 9 semester hours, 9 credits in each of these, or I should say in these 2 areas combined, humanities and fine arts. We take at least 1 humanities class, and we take at least 1 fine arts class. Humanities might be classes like African American Studies, maybe another English class or a history class, philosophy, Intro to Religious Studies. Any of those would be possibilities. In the fine arts area, we're talking about classes where you're learning about art or music or theater. You may be a little concerned. You may be thinking, I don't perform an instrument. I'm not an actor. Those are things I'm not real comfortable with. But the good news is most of these are what we call appreciation classes. You're learning about the topic, but you're not actually performing. The only class that's actually a hands-on class in the fine arts area is Introduction to Art. That is a class where you're actually doing some art projects. But otherwise, we're just learning about these topics. So anyone can complete those successfully, so no worries there. That third class can come from fine arts or humanities, all right? So you have a choice. You can kind of decide which one do I want to take that additional course in. This is also a segment where we can meet another requirement for general education, which is our cultural diversity requirement. So every student is required to take at least 1 class that is considered culturally diverse and talks about other cultures, where you'll learn about cultures and kind of focus on that as part of the class. So in humanities or fine arts, we have certain classes that do meet that requirement, And we'll talk about that with you. Often it's a requirement that you meet without even realizing that you're choosing a diversity class. It's a class that looks interesting, and you take it and you find out, yes, this did talk about other cultures. It is a diversity class, and I've met both of those requirements within my general education. So we'll help you with that along the way. The next segment of general education I want to discuss is mathematics. Sometimes math can be a bit of a concern for students. Some students are really skilled in math. Other students, I know that may be a weaker area where you're like, that's not something I want to take. Well, the good news is you only need one math class if you're just meeting those general education requirements. Now, some students may go much more in-depth with math. It's really dependent on your major. So some majors require several math classes. Other majors may just require that one general education math class. And that's something we'll talk about with you individually. That's why we want to have that discussion individually, because it really does depend specifically on your major and what you end up choosing. So we'll talk about that with you when we meet one-on-one. We'll help you decide whether math is something you want to take right away. For some majors, that may be what we choose to do. For other majors, we may say, hey, let's wait on that. We can pick that up down the road. We just need that one math class to meet general education requirements. So we'll have that discussion with you individually and see what math class might be a good fit for you and when is the right time for you to take that class in your college career. Scientific awareness is another category within the general education. We need 7 semester hours for this category. And usually we can get those 7 semester hours with 2 classes. All right, we know we need at least one biological science, and we know we also need a physical science. Now, one of those 2 classes needs to include a lab. Oftentimes, the lab will come from the physical science because those physical science labs are worth 4 credits. And so that would help us to get to that 7-hour requirement. But you can certainly take a lab within the biological sciences as well. So either way, we're going to take a biology class and a physical science class. We're going to take a class including a lab, and we're going to get that 7 semester hours of science courses taken care of. So in the biology classes, we've got Intro to Biological Principles and Issues. That'd be an example. Maybe something like Heredity and Society, Environmental Life Sciences. Those would be some other options. In the physical sciences, you may be thinking, well, I don't like physics. How am I going to meet that requirement? Well, physical sciences does include physics, and maybe you enjoy physics, maybe that's a great choice for you, but there are a lot of other options too, such as chemistry, maybe a geology class like Intro to Earth Science or Natural Environment or Weather and Climate. Any of those could be options, so definitely keep your options open and see what looks good to you. Social and behavioral sciences is another category within the general education. This one requires 9 semester hours, so 3 classes. We do need to include 2 different subject areas, so that's not tough. There are a lot of different options to choose from. So we can definitely find 2 different areas that you'd like to take here. A lot of different options. I'm not going to list all of them because I'd probably miss something, but definitely many of those classes that you may have taken in high school, like maybe a psychology class or maybe an economics class, maybe a sociology class, those are going to be part of the social and behavioral sciences, but there are many other options as well. And this is another area where we can meet our cultural diversity requirement. So a lot of times, we'll get that diversity requirement met within this social and behavioral sciences area. So check out your choices, see what options you might want to choose here. A lot of good possibilities. Last but not least, I do want to mention the senior seminar or the capstone requirement or the study abroad capstone. So there are several different ways to meet this final general education requirement. But one thing you'll notice is you don't take this class until after you've completed 90 semester hours. So it truly is a class you take as a senior. So we won't worry about it right now. Just be aware there are different ways to meet that. It's one final opportunity to get outside of your major and take another general education class of some kind. So we'll help you with that when you get to that point, or your advisor when you're within your major really at that point. Typically will help you select one. But definitely something we need to do in order to complete your program and complete your general education requirements. So a lot of interesting topics offered, a lot of different ways to meet that requirement, and so that's something you'll do once you hit senior standing. Another topic that we want to discuss today are the academic and support programs that are available to you here at Eastern. There are many different people here on campus to help you, and we're aware of those resources, and that's something we really want to help students with, is help you find out what other opportunities are out there to assist you as you come to Eastern. So we'll talk about some of these But the one I want to point out right now is called EIU 1111. It's a University Foundations class. So this is actually a class, and you can see we've got it in the center there because it really tells you about many of these other different opportunities that are out there to assist you when you come to EIU. So that University Foundations class is really helpful. Let's tell you a little bit more about that particular class. I want to dig into the details because for some of you, this is a class that you will be actually required to take, and for others, it will be a class that you may want to choose to take. So it's a great opportunity to meet people, all right? Because it's going to be only freshmen in there. So freshmen are taking that class, so it's a great opportunity to kind of get in there, and it's a class that's based on discussion, all right? It's a different kind of class from many of your other classes. It's what we call a seminar class, and the whole idea is for it to be discussion-driven. So you're going to get to meet other students as well as other campus faculty and staff. Faculty and staff teach the class, and it's also a class where you're going to learn about a lot of different places on campus, a lot of different resources available to you on campus. In addition, you'll also learn about skills that you need to be successful here at the college level. So we're taking that next step academically from high school into college. And so we're going to really need to be aware of some of these skills that we'll want to work on to be successful at the college level. Time management is really important. That's something you'll learn about in this particular class. Overall study skills. Budgeting is often discussed in this class. Critical thinking skills. You will give some presentations in there. It's a good opportunity to get comfortable giving some presentations in college. And you'll do quite a bit of group work in that class as well. And that's another way to get to know other students in the class and to really kind of find out what it's like to work together with other students at the college level. So great opportunity for those things. And it really just helps us transition smoothly into college. So you'll learn about and talk about roommates, kind of roommate situations, healthy lifestyles in college, how to be successful, definitely how to be safe in college, diversity, we learn about and discuss that as well, and talking about ways to get involved on campus. So you'll actually go to a lot of different presentations or performances. That's part of the class, is going to those and maybe writing up a little bit about it. So those are all opportunities. This is a class that's actually an elective class, although as I said, some students will be required to take it. We'll talk about that with you when we meet with you, whether it's something that you are required to take or whether it's just something you could choose to take. But regardless, it's a great option for any student. So it is a 1-credit class. It's only 1 credit, just meets once a week, but it is a good opportunity to really make that transition into college more smoothly for you. So we want to help you with that, and that's a great way to do it, is by taking that EIU 1111 class. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, let us know when you meet with us one-on-one. We can help you get that class on your schedule for the fall semester. But it is only offered for the fall, so if you're going to be here in the fall, you want to take it then. We don't want to wait on that. It's going to be most helpful to you that first semester, and that's why we want to go ahead and get you into it now if that's a class that you'll be choosing to take. You may be wondering, what's college going to be like? It is going to be different from high school. In general, sure, you're still taking classes, but those classes are going to be different. There is less structure at the college level. So time management is going to be really critical, for sure. And that's something that everybody could use a little extra help with, so be prepared for that. When you come to campus, definitely seek out some assistance, maybe with that time management skill. There are resources available. You will hear more about those resources that can help you with time management when you come to that academic orientation in the summer, and we will definitely look forward to you finding out more about those, and we'll help refer you to some of those resources as well when we meet. Number 1 suggestion for being successful in college: go to class. If I had one suggestion, that would be it. You can't be successful really if you're not there. And there are going to be days it's tempting not to go, but I would definitely encourage you, go to class, because it's not the same getting notes from somebody else, all right? Nothing like being there, absorbing that information yourself, taking those notes. Some professors require attendance, others may not. But either way, make sure you get there, because if you want to be successful, you've got to be in the class. So definitely keep that in mind when you come back in August. We want to make sure that you're getting to class. There are a lot of people on campus to help you be successful, but they can't help you if you're not taking that first step of going to class, getting the information, and then seeking out that assistance. Professors have what we call office hours. So in high school, your teacher was available before class or after class. You could get help then. But at the college level, professors have specific hours that they are going to be available to meet with you. So it's additional beyond class time, and it's a great resource, a great opportunity for you to take advantage of. So definitely, we encourage you to use those. If you have a question about something in class or your homework assignment, reach out to those professors, go to their office hours, and get that assistance. They would be happy to help you. That's what they're here for. But in high school, the teacher may have reached out to you. In college, it's going to be your responsibility to reach out to that professor so that they know you need some help and some assistance. They'll be happy to help, but they need to see you reach out to them usually in order to give you that help. Otherwise, they won't know you need assistance. So another great thing to be aware of is the class syllabus. That's some really important information for you. You will get a syllabus in every single class you go to. In many cases, it's going to be posted online, so you'll be able to seek that information out. But you want to hang on to that syllabus throughout the semester. It's going to have the professor's office hours listed there. It's going to have their attendance policy. It's going to have their policy on late work. Do they accept late work or not? In many cases, they won't. You want to be aware of that. So just keep that in mind. That syllabus gives you the outline for the class, and it also usually has your assignments on there as well. So it's definitely something important that you'll want to refer back to throughout your time in that class. Don't be afraid to ask for help is another important thing to remember. Sometimes we feel like we want to go through and do this on our own, but nobody gets to their goal on their own. Everybody needs a little assistance, and so that's why it's important to reach out for that assistance, whether it be talking to your professor or maybe going to tutoring for that class. There's tutoring offered for many classes on campus. We would be happy to help set you up with that tutoring schedule, let you know when you can seek out tutoring for your particular class that you may need some help with. But the sooner you can ask for that help, the better. So we encourage you, ask for that help early on. And definitely take advantage of all the resources that are out there. Everyone here at Eastern is looking forward to helping you, but we just need to know that you need assistance or what assistance you need so that we can help get you set up with the resources that will be most beneficial for you. We want to talk a little bit about technology now because that's going to be another important part of the college puzzle. So we do want you to know how to navigate and use different resources that are technology-based. So at the top of that list, you see PAWS. That stands for Panther Access to Web Services. And you're going to access PAWS using your network ID and your password that you were assigned when you were admitted to EIU. We're going to use PAWS actually when we meet with you one-on-one to help you register for classes. So that's an important part of what we do in PAWS. But there's a lot of information in PAWS, including your financial aid information, including your grades at the end of the semester. So a lot of different things that you'll want to refer to, but definitely we'll use it when we meet one-on-one to help you register for classes. Another area that we want you to check regularly is your Panther Mail, all right? Panther Mail is what we call your EIU email. So that's your official EIU account, and you may see it referred to as Microsoft 365 or Outlook. When you actually log into Panther Mail, it's going to take you to Microsoft 365, and then if you click that Outlook app on the left side of the screen, that's going to help you actually get into your EIU email, and that's where you'll find those emails. So check it daily. Because you will be getting information through that EIU email on a regular basis. That's really important. Another resource you'll use, you're actually already using it because you found this presentation there, it's D2L Brightspace. It's a digital classroom. Professors will post things in there. Usually your class syllabus will be in there, your assignments will be in there, other materials they want you to have access to, and often your grades will be in there as well. So it allows you to kind of track those grades throughout the semester. So it's a great resource. Most classes use it. Online classes use it completely, but even face-to-face classes will usually use D2L also for a lot of different aspects of the class. So definitely log in there, get familiar with it, and that's something we can help you with as well as you start out your freshman year here at Eastern. And then finally, I want to mention the online catalog. So it's a great resource for information. I mentioned prerequisites. You could find those in the online catalog. Really all kinds of academic rules and regulations, our policies, and our programs and our course offerings. So every single major we offer is in the online catalog, as well as every single class that we offer. You can click on it and get a course description, find out more about the class, including the prerequisites. So it's a great resource for you also. It's updated every academic year, but the one that applies to you is that one when you start out here at Eastern. So for you, it will be that fall 2023 academic catalog. So definitely check it out. It's available online. You can find all that information just right there. So keep that as a resource handy for you, available from our homepage. One last thing I wanted to mention, things to share with your advisor when you meet with us. If you have ideas for general education courses, let us know. Yeah, check those out, see what looks good to you. We want to help you get into a class that's interesting to you. If you are thinking about a major, definitely share that with us too. But again, if you're not there yet, that's okay. Don't think you have to choose one just to get into some classes in that major. We want you to take some time thinking about that major and decide. So if you're ready to choose, great, let us know. We'd be happy to help you get into some classes for your particular major if you've got one in mind, or if you're thinking about a minor as well. If you did take any advanced placement credit or any international baccalaureate credit, let us know about that too. And there's a great resource available to you to let us know these things. You may have already seen it. It's called our pre-advising worksheet. It's also available in D2L. So click on that, fill it out, submit that as a mock form, and we'll get that information. So that's a great way to let us know about these things that we're talking about here on this slide. But definitely, if you did take dual credit coursework as well, let us know about that, because some of you may have taken dual credit courses in high school. If so, make sure you request that transcript from the community college, because we do need to see that community college transcript in order to give you college credit for those dual credit courses. So get those sent in as soon as you can, and that'll help us know. But fill it out on the pre-advising worksheet as well. And then also, if you're going to be a part of any special programs like the Honors College, or maybe you're on an athletics team here at EIU, maybe you're going to seek assistance from Disability Services, all of those resources, let us know about that if you're in any of those special programs, because that will help us help you get the assistance that you're looking for, whether it be specific classes that you need to take, specific times to avoid for practices, those kinds of things, because we definitely want you to be able to do both the academics and the athletics if you're an athlete. And also Disability Services, we want you to be able to take advantage of those resources that are there for you. So let us know when you meet with us one-on-one. So finally, we look forward to meeting with you individually. We hope you have a great experience as you prepare to come to EIU this fall. And the key thing to take away, stay in touch, all right? Whether that means a phone call or an email, or when you get to campus, stopping in. Any questions you may have. In the fall semester, we're available throughout those first 2 weeks of the fall on a walk-in basis. So if you have questions when you first start classes, just stop in. We're available during regular office hours, 8 to 4:30. You don't need an appointment. You can just stop in. So definitely keep us informed with any questions you may have. And you also see, in addition to our phone number and our website there for McAfee Gym, we're also on Instagram, so we would love for you to follow us there. We try to put out information that's helpful for students on our Instagram account as well. So whatever way is best for you to keep in touch, we look forward to hearing from you, and definitely looking forward to meeting with you one-on-one here soon to help you get prepared for EIU and help you select some classes. Thanks. See ya.